Do I have to introduce the topic of today? I don't think so. But before I start, I want you to know I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge. I do have an opinion if it comes to this topic, and I feel like I wanted to talk about this for a very long time. And today is the day, especially in this season, going through winter, feeling lonely, thinking maybe you should, mingle around. I'm just here to say the devil is a liar. I think that we can be more sensitive if it comes to certain seasons and making certain choices, if that makes sense. Because this is a season where we can feel more lonely, it's dark outside, holidays are coming, maybe we don't have a boo, a baby, and we're like, you know what? Let me give that one guy a chance who slid into my DMs, but I know he has nothing there for me. But I'm going there because I'm feeling lonely and I feel like I have to hook up with someone because society is telling me to. So I'm here today with a voice and I hope you'll hear it. Let's start with the definition. What is the definition of hookup culture?
Hookup culture is a social trend in which people have various types of sexual encounters without expecting emotional intimacy or relationship commitment. Basically, it's a no-strings-attached kind of perspective that some people, often, but not always young people, have for their own sexual journeys.
Where I live, the Netherlands, hookup culture is a thing. It's like a big thing. So, first thing first, and listen carefully before y'all be like, in the comments. Relax. I do want to say, I think hookup culture is easier for women to participate in, but benefiting men more. Hold up. Let me explain, please. I do think it hurt men as well though, but in a different way. Let me explain. So why is it easier for women to participate? I think because normally for women, it's easier to get sex. Let's be honest now. Let's say we're walking outside and we ask 20 random men if they want to have sex. A higher percentage will say, yes, let's go. Right? But if we turn it around, if a man walks outside and asks 20 women to have sex, casually sex, a lot of the women will say no or will say, ugh, disgusting, or what do you think? But I do think it will be different if the man looks a certain way or have a certain lifestyle. Let's be honest, we have all seen the experiments on YouTube where a guy who is broke approaches a girl and she's not interested, and as soon as he drives in his Lamborghini, she's all interested and throwing herself on him like, yay, I'm here, pick me. Because a lot have changed, right? And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but I feel like women will mainly have casual sex with men who looks a certain way so that they can choose. And men easier have sex with women just like that without like having to feel sexually really attracted to them, if that makes sense. If there are men watching and they're like, nah, that's not true, just let me know. But that's how it feels for me. Like, you hear things like, yeah, she's not pretty, but I just wanted to, you know what I mean? So hookup culture is beneficial for men who looks a certain way, but is really damaging for men who doesn't look a certain way because they cannot participate in hookup culture because society says if you're not meeting this kind of standard, you're not one of us. I can really imagine this leading to a mad insecurity for men because if you're not into hookup culture, if you're not participating in it, it feels like you're not fitting into the box. It can make you feel like you're not worth it or something is wrong with you, especially young men. And I think that's also the reason why young men are sometimes so focused on money, sometimes looking a certain way or behaving a certain way because they know that if they hit a certain standard, they can easily participate in hookup culture. I feel like for women, if they are not meeting the beauty standard, they can still participate in hookup culture. Does it make sense, guys? Just let me know in the comments. I definitely don't want to disrespect nobody because that's not who I am. I want to be raw and real. So let me know. So as I was reflecting and journaling about this topic, there was a time in my life years ago in a stage of my life, I participated in things like friends with benefits or just dating but not exactly knowing where you're going. And I feel like that's a part of hookup culture too, but we're not talking about that a lot. Society brings it as it is something small, something you can just do, but underlying, there's a lot of things you accept that can have a damage on your brain. And I also think on the way you look at love and relationships, but we don't talk about it. Let me apologize quick because I'm talking to you guys, but I'm not looking into the camera. I normally am someone who likes to look around. I'm quite easily distracted, but at the same time, I like to talk, if that makes sense. So just so you know, yeah? So yeah, as I was reflecting and thinking about the stage in my life where I was participating in this kind of things, for me, I have been in therapy for many years, so I know that me doing that kind of things also had to do with I have a type of attachment style where I am afraid to really connect with people. And I think concept like hookup culture is a very good cover for people who have trauma issues, and they can like go through life in a certain way without looking at themselves, and people can be like, oh yeah, I'm free, I can do what I want. Yes, you can do what you want, absolutely, but it does comes with consequences, 100%. I don't believe if you live the lifestyle of hookup culture like raw, if you live that lifestyle, I don't believe that you're truly happy inside. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry, I don't. So I did had conversations with men about this topic, and you will be surprised how many men doesn't like this concept either. And I think sometimes we are so quickly to just take what society or standards say without thinking by ourselves, is this really what we want? Is this really something we are benefiting from? Is it? Think about it. I don't think I have to go deep into how many research and statistics there are about how harmful it can be to have a lot of casual, different bed partners. So let me just show you something real quick.
Casual sex, they say, actually rewires your brain in a way that makes genuine, lasting, selfless relationships much more difficult to achieve later.
So over time, this pattern, this lifestyle can train your brain to avoid deeper connections because you have learned yourself that relationships don't need that level of closeness. It's hard to truly open up, or you might feel numb. You have trained your brain just to have casual sex. And if you think about it, it makes sense because you train yourself. The things, the habits, the thoughts, everything what you do is something you have trained yourself. You have taught yourself. And most of the times, your body responds to that. And what it also does is if you hook up, so you're with someone, then you're not with someone, then you're with someone else, then you're not with someone, like the cycle of breaking up, coming together, breaking up with different type of persons, I feel like you learn yourself that relations are temporary. When you want a serious, long committed relationship, it's harder for you to commit because you have also trained yourself that love is short and temporary. And I don't say that physical intimacy isn't important. It is, but it's very hard if you have a lifestyle your whole life of just hooking around, then coming into a serious relationship, then finding yourself stuck, finding it hard to be committed for a long time. I can imagine you find it boring. And then at the same time, what kind of fulfillment are you going to get if it's only physical intimacy? Because everyone who has been in a long-term relationship over 2, 3, 4 years knows that there will come a certain point where there has to be more than physical intimacy. And what I also want to point is living a lifestyle of not committing, you know, just being open and yeah, we'll see, and friends with benefits and hookup culture and just go with the flow, create a long-term form of fear because now you can't really connect on an emotional level. This can lead to a fear of fully investing in someone because you have the belief that it won't last long or it will end painfully. As a result, you might push people away who trying to get close or even self-sabotage. And this one got me because I know there was a certain period in my life where I did want to be connected, but I couldn't connect. So when I found myself in this kind of situations, it was very difficult because I didn't know what was the thing why I was acting like this. But then of course I went to therapy and I figured out that I have a avoidant attachment style that makes hookup culture very interesting for people like me, because you are someone who don't want to commit easily in nature because of the things that you have learned, you have picked up. Standards as hookup culture can be very beneficial, we think, as people who are avoidant attached, because underneath we don't like to connect anyways. You know what I mean? So having that as a standard, like, oh, we don't have to commit, just hook up, just do your friends with benefits, just do your go with the flow dating, kind of cover up an emotional wound you have already, if that makes sense. A lot of people who, I don't know if I can say this though. Am I going to say this? I feel like a lot of people who participate in this for a very long time and acting like they do like this, I think that they have something underneath going on that they need to resolve. Because when I went to therapy, when I did my work, when I did my healing, guess what? Hookup culture wasn't attractive for me anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, hookup culture robs you from your own freedom. It robs you from your own peace. It robs you from being in touch with your spirit, as it forces you to disconnect. Think about it. Having a lot of different casual hookups forces you to disconnect in order to do that kind of thing. Not being in touch with your spirit or with who you are as a person can make you feel very, very empty. And maybe it only feeds your ego for what? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but it doesn't feed your spirit, who you are as a person, your emotional state. It doesn't. And for those who are struggling with self-worth, just let me tell you something. You are not going to get what you are searching for going into the world and being hooked up all the time. The very thing you are searching for, you're only gonna find it within yourself and within God, to be honest. If you are addicted to external validation, that's the worst addiction you can have. Your mood, your self-worth depends on other people, depends on society standards, depends on how people treat you. That's why it's so important to put God first, to put yourself first, to make sure that you are perfect as you are. And the only standard we have to live by is the standard of God, because that are the standards that will feed our spirit, that will feed how we are as a person, and that will feed our emotional state. If you have God as a standard, trust me, your confidence, your self-worth will grow. The standard of the world will always change. The standard of God will never, and that's on period. So I want to share a quick story. So a few years ago, I met a wonderful girl, and she is so nice, she is smart, and now she's a good friend of mine. But when I met her, she was really, really into hookup culture, and it came to a certain point that I was very worried. I felt like I wanted to have a conversation with her about it. I was a little bit scared because I didn't want to come across as I was judging her. So one day she was at my place, we were at my house, she was telling a story, and I was feeling so concerned. You know, when you really love someone, you just see that they're hurt and they're hurting themselves by making particular choices. That day, I feel like I couldn't say nothing anymore, because if I didn't say something, I was being a bad friend. Do you know what I mean? I do believe you need friends that will tell you how things are, sometimes if it's not nice to hear. So she was telling a story, and then I just told her that I was very concerned, and I just didn't know why she was making particular choices and participating in hookup culture. And I can remember she was really shocked that I told her, but not shocked in a sense of, oh, why are you telling me this? No, shocked in a sense of she have never thought about it in a way that I was telling her. So she was like, what do you mean I can meet someone who likes me for who I am? Am I not just supposed to give my body? And then we had a really good conversation, and she took it very good, and I was feeling so relieved because I was saying it because I care for her and I just wanted to protect her. So yeah, this was, I think, 3 years ago, and we have been friends for a long time. We also have grown a lot with each other. She holds me accountable for stuff, vice versa, and we really have an open, honest, raw friendship. I'm very happy to have her as a friend. So a few months ago, I was at her place. We were talking because sometimes we can really go deep and stuff. And she was like, hey, do you know that one time at your place when you said something to me about, let's say, hookup culture? And I was like, yeah, of course. I know exactly which day that was. And she was like, I just want to thank you for bringing that up to me, because that made me realize that I have to reflect on myself and ask myself questions. You saying that to me really opened my eyes. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because sometimes we have friends, we think that if we say something, we will lose our friendships. I just want to say, if you can't say something to your friend with love and because you want to protect her, of course, always watch your delivery. If you have friends who only want you to participate in things with them and they want you to cheer them up, even when you know it's harmful for them, I don't think they are real friends. I don't think that's authentic. Friends are also there to be a mirror. Sometimes you can have a blind spot. Sometimes we think we know it all. It is so rare and so good to have a friend who can sit you down and can say, hey, listen, I just want to see you win. I want to see you grow. I want to see you not hurting yourself. And instead of seeing it as an attack, see it as someone who wants to see you grow. Bruh, look at me being all deep and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it light and funny today. Look at me now. Anyways, I think it's very important to take care of yourself emotionally, but also on a spiritual level, especially when it comes to temptations, lust, parties, certain activities, your surroundings, or even sometimes family. But at the end of the day, guys, the reward is better than the short-term satisfaction. And I'm telling you, and I know you know as well, right? So yeah, I hope this message reaches somebody who needed to hear this today, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this topic. I just want to say God bless you. You are not alone. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.